All right, folks, we got a good one lined up for you. A 200% pump captured, a $200 million hack within the SWI ecosystem. We're going to be talking about that one, along with two new stablecoins being brought to the XRP ledger by institutions. So we got a lot of twos taking place here today. 200% pump, $200 million hack, and two new stablecoins. Let's get right on into the update. Everything's at my website, ZachRector.com, and I appreciate your support. This is the leading DEX and liquidity infrastructure on the SWI network. Cetus protocol is the name. And apparently there was an incident detected on their protocol and smart contract, and they have now paused that for safety. And the team is investigating the incident at the moment. Now, it looks like this has not been solved yet. I'm seeing over $200 million in the hacker's wallet, and they've already started rolling over 60 million of that over into Ethereum, moving it around between a couple different chains like the hackers usually do. I find it interesting that they always stay away from the XRP ledger, right? Not to say that we don't have some bad actors in the XRP ledger launching some meme coins that rug pull or whatever. Sure, we have a little bit of that. But I don't like to beat up ecosystems while they're down, but I do think that there's a lot of other layer one projects that could take something away from what we've done on the XRP ledger, right? The native layer one XRP ledger DEX and AMM are something others could learn from. It's always these layer two smart contracts getting hacked within other ecosystems. And I even talked about this when Uniswap, the big AMM for Ethereum, was getting served a Wells notice by the previous SEC. Right, the previous SEC under Gary Gensler was about to come, attack Uniswap essentially, and that's a layer two smart contract for the big AMM on Ethereum. Now here over in the SWI ecosystem, there's a hack that takes place, and nearly every single project rugged, all of the liquidity gets pulled out of basically all of their tokens within their ecosystem. Now, somehow, just like when SWI network goes down or Solana goes down, these networks go down and somehow the coin manages to relatively stay up. There was a pretty decent pullback on SWI this morning, but it's already recovered. And I'm, suspecting that some liquidity got injected by the VC pump gang to kind of save the day. But these layer two smart contracts are where almost all of these hacks take place. You just can't really do that on the XRP ledger DEX and AMM because this is at our protocol level. And so if there was any issue, we have our validators that could work pretty swiftly to stop any sort of attack. But from my understanding, we haven't had any hack or exploit like this within the XRP ledger ecosystem ever. Now, knock on wood, and we pray that that doesn't happen. But inherently, we already have another layer of security because none of our AMM, none of our DEX is wrapped up in some sort of smart contract which can be manipulated and exploited. And that's where all these hacks come from. Now, in regards to SWI, I've stayed away from it because it's a VC pump gang token, and I'm not going to be exit liquidity for the VC pump gang. Not that there's not some utility and a little something cooking. I had actually just mentioned the other day that I was actually hearing quite a bit about the SWI ecosystem getting pretty hot as far as like the degens playing around in the memes over there, Well, turns out, it was hot, and it's hot until it's not. And that's what just took place today after this major exploit over in SWI. And this guy right here, Trading Axe, he says, fun fact about SWI, it's Pantera Capital religiously buying the monthly unlocks to keep the price going up. Incredible alpha in figuring out when Dan Moorhead plans to stop this. Now, I don't know how legit that is, but that's just the vibe that I get from SWI. Is you got Raoul Paul, who was just on a podcast last week saying that he's over 70% invested in SWI. I mean, anybody who manages capital doesn't allocate over 70% to one investment. Like I mean, unless you're a degen like me in XRP, right? But overweight SWI, absolutely. And well, at least the SWI token's holding up, but we'll have to see if their ecosystem can recover from this one. Not looking good over there. Now we flip on over to the XRP ledger ecosystem, and quite a different story over here with institutional adoption taking place. Hidden Road recently acquired membership status of the DTCC FICC Government Securities Division. This is the largest sector of the government's fixed income market, 7 trillion in daily volume. An incredible find here from Matthew Liny. The light shines in the darkness. And that's how I feel about XRP. With all this crazy stuff going on, our ecosystem's just pure, right? It just shines and stands out as just a solid ledger over 10 years of uptime, no problems. And then when it comes to adoption, every single day we're reporting on new partnerships, more adoption. And today we get a report on 2 new stablecoins coming to the XRP ledger. But I want to remind everybody, we had a clip from David Sachs, the crypto and AI czar for the White House. Yesterday, he said that this stablecoin legislation that the Senate just passed, Congress, House of Representatives will now move forward with that. It's going to unlock trillions of dollars of demand for U.S. treasuries. Now, if you guys have been paying attention to the bond market, we're going to need some help over there, right? This is the big issue that most people in the crypto space probably aren't paying attention to, but it's our bond market, and those yields keep going up higher. While basically President Trump and Scott Bessent, they've been trying to fight to bring those yields back down. We have over $6 trillion of short-term debt that has to be rolled over in the United States this year. And so with rates going up higher, this is a significant problem. How do you solve it? Stablecoins, right? How do you bring more demand for US dollars across the world? Stablecoins. And David Sachs already commented how this is already 200 billion. Here's another 2 for you. Over 200 billion in the market cap of all the stablecoins combined. And this is going to unlock trillions after we get the stablecoin legislation through. Ripple with Hidden Road already in position to tap into the largest sector of government's fixed income market that moves 7 trillion of daily volume. I mean, when you look, Ripple has tapped into so many different markets, right? These are addressable markets that aren't trillions of dollars per year. These are addressable markets that move trillions of dollars on a daily basis, whether it be, the cross-border payments with Swift doing 5 to 6 trillion daily, whether it be, their acquisition of Hidden Road, that is 3 trillion of flows every single year. But then you got this market that they're tapping into that's 7 trillion of daily liquidity. See, when you tap into one addressable market after another, and the pie is trillions on a daily basis, which equates to quadrillions on a yearly basis, all you got to get is a little piece of that action, just a little piece of that, and we're going to be having some fun. But speaking of institutional adoption, Schumann Financial bringing the first MiCA-compliant Euro stablecoin to one of the world's most trusted blockchains. And this is the difference between the XRP ledger and so many of these other cryptos. Yeah, they might be cute, they might have something cooking, but there's a reason why the XRP ledger is referred to here as one of the world's most trusted blockchains, right? Schumann Financial bringing us a MiCA-compliant Euro stablecoin, and this is all about bringing the Euro economy on chain. And we have another one too. This is Ripple X sharing that Brazos Group brings a new US dollar-backed stablecoin, USDB, launching on the XRP ledger. Now, this is a follow-up, right? Because they've already issued the Brazilian real as well, this Brazos Group. So now you have them bringing a US dollar stablecoin and a Brazilian real stablecoin to the XRP ledger in a compliant way on a trusted blockchain with deep liquidity that's ever growing, right? Now, here's where this gets exciting. We had speculated, is Ripple going to launch all these different stablecoins, or are their partners going to do so? I always was on the side of they're going to let their partners do so. Now, would it be good for Ripple's business? Would Ripple's valuation go up if, they issued all these stablecoins? Yeah, it'd be good for them. But I think the main reason why they're going to lean on their partners is because their partners are already set up in all of these different jurisdictions with ties and relations to the existing financial system, the existing legacy system, right? So it's just a lot, logistically and with coming into compliance in all these different areas versus if you rely on a partner like Brazos Group, which can bring a US dollar-backed stablecoin, a Brazilian real stablecoin within that country. They already have existing relationships, just like Schumann Financial, assuming that they already have existing relationships within the Euro region. And I've talked about how SBI, I think, is one of the front leading contenders to launch a Japanese yen on the XRP ledger as well too, right? Ripple can rely on these partners that they have in each country worldwide, right? In so many different markets, basically full global coverage, and they can just partner up and allow their partners to launch these stable coins, and then Ripple can help them build up those liquidity pools within our XRP ledger as well too. This is very, very exciting news. I know stablecoins might be kind of boring, but think about the unlock that's taking place. Think about the liquidity that's about to start growing here. And the beautiful thing, what will make XRP so attractive is that if you're on the XRP ledger, you'll have such good, great, open, deep liquidity for going into any currency or real world asset that's on our ledger, right? So I mean, it's just, we're opening up the floodgates of liquidity, and it's all coming right now, right? It starts with a trickle. It starts with the first announcement. Hey, the stablecoin's live. And then we start to build up that liquidity. And if they create a pool on our AMM, me and you will be able to contribute to these pools of liquidity ourselves too. Public, open, deep pools of liquidity. This is the best advantage of the XRP ledger. Now, here's Crypto Michael as far as where we're at in these markets. Let's take a look here. He says, Bitcoin has reached the historical 8-year line. When Bitcoin breaks this line, phase 3 of the bull market will commence. And so we're looking at this line that goes all the way back to 2021. And you see that we already hit it, ticked off it a couple times here. And so we get up to it one more time. Somebody asked, what price is the line at? The line is at 110 to 112,000. Well, as a matter of fact, we already did that for Bitcoin this morning and last night. We went all the way up here to 111,860. Okay, we're at 110.8 right now. But we're basically already there. Back to Crypto Michael's chart, we're already here at this yellow line. Now, why does he say that when we hit this line, this is when phase 3 of the bull market will commence? Because that's when we go into our alt season. That's when you're going to see XRP take off. After Bitcoin tops out, rolls over, it's going to be time for our altcoins, which I don't consider XRP to be an altcoin, but that's when they're going to be going on a roll. Now, XRP this morning did pop up to 245 again. Let's see if we can break through that level of resistance. We've hit that a couple times here now. I'm looking for us to break that and head back up into my purple box here as we lead into Bitcoin conference week and XRP Las Vegas next week as well. But why did I say 200% pump captured? Because I'm talking about the nickname that I've come up here with ZBCN. I'm talking about Zebeki. Little Zebeki. Zebek Network, ZBCN. Now, I'm currently up about 196% on this trade because this is when I made my entry right here. On this chart, I marked off when I made my videos. This is the first video that I mentioned ZBCN, and I made a quick mention of it, and I noted it in my video that I'd already bought in. I said, guys, take a look at it. Now, did I tell anybody to buy Zebek? No. I told you to take a look. I told you I was buying and that you might want to take a look. So I know a lot of people want to give me credit and say, thanks for telling me about Zebek, but that's exactly it. I told you about it. I told you take a look. Let's get educated about it. And then ultimately you made the decision to make these investments. And hats off to you for doing so, for taking the time to do your due diligence, researching and figuring out, wow, the ZBCN is not just a meme coin. This is actually another utility play that's what? Based in America. How bullish are we on utility based in America? Very bullish, right? And so after I made my video, my first mention, this thing popped up and then it did come back down here, right? Came all the way back down here to 0.0007. And then I did my deep dive on April 26th. So first mention back here, April 16th, deep dive on April 26th. And well, 200% pump has been captured. That's how we do it. Fundamental investments. You catch the momentum, has enough fundamentals to share a real story. In Zebek, they just did a spaces with Uphold on Monday, I believe. Or maybe that was yesterday, actually. This week's been flying by, getting ready for XRP Las Vegas. But they just did a space with Uphold, and apparently there's going to be like a airdrop if you hold ZBCN on Uphold. I look into the details for more on that. I obviously have links for Uphold. I bought my ZBCN on Caleb and Brown. Both of those are linked up down below if you're looking to get access there. But apparently there's an airdrop coming for those that hold their ZBCN on Uphold. I don't have the full details on that, but I'm expecting ZBCN to still go up quite a bit higher. You know, people have been asking me, is it too late? Well, I still think my targets, as I shared in my deep dive, are half a penny to a penny. And those are very conservative predictions for ZBEC, in my opinion. Right? And we're already halfway there, right? So I called this thing out way back in here, right? And if you would have bought the dip on this sucker, I mean, you could be up way more. You could be up 250, 270%. I didn't even time the bottom on this perfectly, and I'm kicking myself for not buying the dip, because as it is right now, I'm still up 196%, but I could have even done it better. But that's okay, because we're not done, right? On my ZBCN chart, I have this thing still running right up here on our fibs. We're going up to half a penny with ease. Half a penny with ease. And so, yeah, you know, there's still some opportunity. Absolutely on ZBCN. Real utility being built out. I'd get your eyes on it at the very least. Now, DAG, another project that I wanted to mention here, I did notify my Discord group yesterday that I just doubled up. My DAG position yesterday. So DAG back above 5 cents here this morning, hanging out right at that level. Yesterday, I actually almost tripled up my position. It was well over doubling up my DAG bag yesterday. Almost tripled up my position on this one, because I'm a believer that this is another great utility based in America, already working with the US government. They just announced delegated staking. They have their own DEX on the way as well. And so I got my eyes on this one, and I did just double up my position, nearly tripled it up yesterday. Not financial advice, but I'm just telling you how I'm moving. And then in today's update for Patreon and Discord, I'm going to be breaking down my current trade setup for the next week, leading into the Bitcoin conference, how I'm going to be playing this one. I'm going to be sharing that exclusively for my Patreon and Discord members, because I don't really like to share all of my trades publicly, but I'm going to be breaking down kind of how I'm viewing the market over the next week. That's going to be exclusive for my Patreon and Discord group. So if you guys are looking to get access to that, just go to ZachRector.com. You sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord, and you can join us in the family over there. But with that being said, guys, I'm looking for us to rally into the Bitcoin conference and the XRP conference next week as well, too. And I think that we will be rolling over by the time the conference is getting started or after it's wrapping up. If you just look at how Bitcoin performed last year after the Bitcoin conference, it fell 30%. After topping out at 70,000, Bitcoin fell 30% after the Bitcoin conference. So I'll just leave you with that. I'm not going to break down my full trade here, but I'm going to do so in my Patreon and Discord group later today. So I appreciate you guys for stopping by, showing support. Everything's looking great in the XRP Ledger ecosystem from a technical standpoint, still in bullish structure, ready to make our move up towards $3 to finish off this month. So I'd stay ready for that. And if you appreciate what we're doing, make sure you like this video, help us out by sharing it out far and wide. All of our resources at ZachRector.com. God bless you all. We'll see you in the next one. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.